So this video is actually addressing one of the questions I get asked probably most frequently, and people always ask me, how do I get involved in activism and what different type of activism organisations or events should I look for? So I just thought I'd put all the different groups that I attend into this video and talk about how to get involved in them and where you can find them and stuff to kind of help give you the tools you need to get involved in activism in your area. So the first group that I will mention is the Save movement. Saves are basically where we go and stand outside slaughterhouses and we bear witness to the trucks of animals being taken to slaughter. These are really great events. A lot of people will film the trucks and film the animals in the trucks and then post it online. They'll do Facebook live streams and things. It's a really great way of helping people connect with the animals and show them in a different stage of the process that many people simply don't consider. I know the Save videos that I put out on my channel always get really good responses, and I get messages from people saying that they've really influenced them and helped change their perception of their lives and the way they live their lives. It's a very powerful thing to live stream to your Facebook because your friends and family can see where you are in that moment and they can see that you are the one there filming that footage. It just makes it seem more real and adds more authenticity to your arguments, and I've heard a lot of success stories from people who've managed to turn their friends and family vegan through going to vigils and filming themselves there or doing live streams. So I think it's a fantastic form of activism, and not only that, you create such a great sense of community. Some of the closest friends I have now I met through vigils and going to Saves, so you do meet some really great people. Now the way to get involved in Saves is the easiest thing is to go onto the Save movement website. On the website is a massive map and has all the different Save groups all around the world listed on there. So you might find there's one in your local area already. I think especially in the UK there's so many all over, there's bound to be one very close to you. Now if you don't have a Save group near to you, I would really suggest trying to set one up, and it's quite simple to do actually. If you message the Save movement Facebook page saying that you're interested in setting up a Save group in your area, they'll give you all the information, all the help and guidance you need to do that, and they'll help you every step of the way. Now I'm an organiser here in the UK, and it's such a privilege to be a part of this movement. I really feel included in something that's spreading all over the world and is making a massive change. So I always recommend to someone to set one up if you have one, if you don't have one in your area and you're interested, because they're so valuable, and the community we're building through the Save movement is ever growing and is global. It's a really powerful thing to do to bear witness, and it's one of the my favourite forms of activism for myself, and also because I think it's a really effective way of promoting the message. So the second organisation I'm going to recommend in this video is Anonymous for the Voiceless. So Anonymous for the Voiceless is an outreach event where activists will stand in a cube and they'll wear anonymous masks and screen footage taken from slaughterhouse and factory farms all over the world, country specific. And then there's a team of outreach members that will be around the laptops and around the screens having conversations with the public, and engaged in dialogue with those members of the public who choose to stop and watch. So for me, having conversations with people is probably the most important and effective way of spreading veganism and spreading the message. But say you don't want to engage in conversations straight away, you can stand in the queue, but you don't have to have conversations with the public if it's not something you feel confident doing. Another thing you can do is you can shadow. What I really like about this is you can basically listen to conversations with other activists and members of the public and listen to what it is the activists are saying, listen to how the conversations run, and by shadowing you build that confidence up and you learn more. So again, there's a really great community at Anonymous for the Voiceless. It's another global movement that is spreading so quickly, and it's something really powerful to be involved in and empowering. It's really empowering to know that you're making a positive difference and changing people's minds, and that's what you do at these events. When you leave, you always feel that you've done a great job and you feel that you've been part of something that is changing the world, because it is changing the world. So similar to the Save movement, there is a map as well which shows what all the different chapters are for Anonymous for the Voiceless. So again, have a look and see if there's one in your local area, because they are all over the world, so you might find there is one. However, if there isn't, you should set one up. Again, the best way to do this is to contact the Anonymous for the Voiceless Facebook page, drop the message and say you're interested in setting up a chapter in your local area, and Paul and Asal, the organisers or founders of Anonymous for the Voiceless, will give you all the tools. They'll send you a manual of all the information on, and they'll basically help you and guide you to set up your own event. They are super easy to do and really are not stressful at all. You just have to find a good space, find a few volunteers that want to help out and do activism with you, and you're pretty much ready to go. You'll be given all the help, you'll be given all the guidance you need, and I would highly recommend getting involved with Anonymous for the Voiceless. So the next form of activism that I really enjoy myself is just the different forms of outreach that you can do. So if you want to just go out with a table and you want a section of flyers and you want to give out flyers to members of the public, that's a brilliant thing to do. Another thing that I really enjoy enjoys having free food samples. So have a selection of plant milks, vegan cheeses, vegan chocolates, just a selection of vegan foods that people might not realize you can get vegan, and show people how easy it is to live this lifestyle and how delicious it is. I think the food samples work so well because you create so many conversations with people, and you can tell people about which supermarkets they can get these products in. You can talk about how, the pricing of these products and kind of dispel these myths about vegan food. I find the free food samples to be one of the most effective forms of outreach that you can do. Another thing you can do is you can have the VR headsets and show the iAnimal 360-degree footage. That's super powerful. And another great form of activism is you can give someone like a free cupcake if they watch, say, a 4 or 5 minute video, and that video could have graphic slaughterhouse footage on. We did something in London where we showed like a 4-minute cut of cowspiracy. So anything that you want related to veganism, offer people a free cupcake if they sit or stand and watch the video. Another really popular form of activism is protesting. So we normally here in London, or through Surge Activism, we protest things like fur, and we're currently running a campaign against London Fashion Week demanding that they ban fur from their catwalks. The thing about protesting is it can be such a really fun form of activism, and you're targeting like a business or a company for doing something that's immoral. It's a really great way of kind of releasing some of that anger and that kind of a stress we get from living in a non-vegan world. So it can be super fun, but it's also really effective, and a lot of great things have happened through protesting. So what I would say about protesting is make sure that you do it in the right environment, and make sure you're protesting like a business or a company rather than going after like an individual. Being loud and being kind of very vocal and using megaphones and stuff works really well if you are kind of targeting a specific business for doing immoral acts. So yeah, I love protesting. It's one of my favorite things to do, and it can just be so much fun, but at the same time so effective. If you're interested in getting involved in more frontline direct action, then you can do so. Now in the UK we have SABs for fox hunting, the badger cull, and other kind of UK specific things. I can't necessarily speak for other countries. So if you want to get involved in more direct action here in the UK, then drop the local groups in your area a message and they'll help you get involved. One of the best experiences of my life came from the Animal Rights March that we held here in London last year, and I always recommend now that people get involved in marches in their area for a number of reasons really. I think number one, a community again. I really like to focus on community building in the activism that I do, and I think what's beautiful about the march is it brings together so many people. So in London we had I think like 3,000 people last year. We're hoping for about 5,000 this year. So you bring together so many different people. It's a great opportunity to meet lots of new vegans and lots of new activists and get really integrated in the community. The second thing is it's super fun. It's so loud, it's so bright, it can be really colourful, it can be really optimistic and hopeful, and you get lots of people watching off the street. You make a real stance and you're very vocal about it. I think that's really empowering. So those are two really great things. So if there's a march going in an area, maybe it's closed all slaughterhouses, maybe it's the official Animal Rights March, get involved in them and be a part of them. Meet new people, get a feel for that energy. I think the thing about marches, it's the thing about every activism event, is every voice counts and every individual counts. And even if you go and you maybe have your comfort zone and maybe you don't want to engage as proactively as other people do at these activism events, you being there is incredibly powerful. And numbers is, it's really important that we get as many numbers to these events as possible. If there's no groups in your area or you haven't been able to find any, sometimes the simplest thing to do is just go into Facebook and type in wherever you live, followed by animal rights or followed by vegan activism, and you might be surprised by what's been set up in your area. If nothing's been set up, then set up a Facebook page, do wherever you live followed by vegan activism, and just see what happens, because there's vegans all over the world now, and the number of vegans who feel empowered and inspired to get active is also increasing. So there might be people in your local area who want to get active but don't know anyone or don't have the means to do so. So I'd recommend doing that. Another great thing to do is go along to some of the social events. You can go along to the veg fests or the potlucks or whatever it is, and talk to people there and see if you can gauge if anyone's interested in getting into activism in those groups. I think those social events can work really well. You make new friends, but you can also meet new activists and then form like a community from that instead. I completely understand that when we start getting involved in activism or decide to become an activist, it can seem quite daunting, and it does take us out of our comfort zone, but it's really important that we do this. We can't remain silent when all these horrible things are happening to animals. We can't remain silent when these industries have been allowed to commit such atrocities to living beings. We have to use our voices to be loud and to make a real change. If we want to see a vegan world, if we want to see a world of animal exploitation, then we have to do everything we possibly can to make that world a reality. And activism is the absolute least we can do to try and make the world a better place for future generations of both humans and non-human animals. So I really hope this video gives you some more useful resources, and I'll link below in the description everything I've referenced, all the maps and all the groups, just so it's all there so you can click on it straight away and see if there's anything in your area or see if you want to set something up. If you do have any other questions about activism, then please do drop me a message. And I'd just like to emphasise at the end that being an activist is a really powerful and inspiring thing to do. When we leave events, we feel like we've made a real change, and that's a really great feeling to have. So please do get involved and please do become a vegan activist. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you found it beneficial. Also, if you have any questions, drop them below in the comments and maybe other people can help answer them for you as well. If you like this video, then do give it a thumbs up and make sure you share it around so we can try and empower as many people as possible and give as many people as possible the tools they need to become an activist in their local area. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. You know, I suppose if we are not the ones fighting to make the world a better place, there may never be a point in the future where we look back at our actions in disgust. I mean, I desperately want to get to a point in the near future, not that long in the future, where we look back on our actions today and are dismayed, and we teach it in schools, you know, when we say, look at how horrible we